What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Dror coming at you with the first in a new series that we will be bringing to the ESOC channel. If you ever saw Zuda's replay analytics that he made a while back, this is very similar. Although I do not claim to have the game knowledge of Zuda at all. But this is just an opportunity for people to send in their recordings, no matter what level they are, and I cast them, I give my feedback, and it's just a good way for people who maybe aren't in tournaments, or maybe don't get to see their games casted very often. This is their chance to show their skills to the rest of the community. So, this is the first recording I have been given. It was given to me by my good friend EAGLEMUT, who is playing in the west of the map as the color red, as the civilization Iroquois. Did convert that grizzly bear, very nice by him. And in the east of the map, his mighty opponent, Pezet, playing as the British in the color blue. We are playing on the ESOC map Colorado, a very nice map indeed. A 30 coin treasure picked up by EAGLEMUT, nice job, and the 40 wood. Good job getting those two early treasures, especially with the conversion of that grizzly bear. Going to soak up a lot of HP and really help him get some of those big, beefier treasures. Looks like a 90 coin here coming in for the British player, and he is putting down the market, so that's really going to help him get his early upgrades in, get that hunting dogs, and save him a lot of time gathering that extra coin. Let's see. We have a native scout down here. We have 90 food here. We have 30% HP for the explorer. That's not... usually that treasure is not really worth taking. The 95 wood up here, so some really good treasures on this map. And the Iroquois player in the south of the map, while the British player in the north of the map. The Iroquois player just laid down a house with the 100 coin start. The British player, as said, did go for the market and the manor. Probably already has gotten his hunting dogs in. Unfortunately, I don't have the UI, so I can't check for sure. But is going to lose this grizzly bear, but is going to pick up this 90 food. A very worthwhile trade. So everything looking pretty standard here. Ooh, a little bit of a mistake by EAGLEMUT there. Really should try to get those hunts towards his town center, right under his town center to reduce villager idle time. But the hunts look pretty even. Pezet done a good job here bringing his hunt under his TC. And both just going for pretty standard play here. Did convert the other grizzly bear and get this native scout. That is a huge pickup because not only does he get this other grizzly bear, but he also gets the Native American scout, which can do a lot of good scouting, of course, as the title implies. Bringing in the second hunt here, good job by Pezet. If he's going to be able to win, he's got to, of course, bring that hunt in. As we know, British are very food dependent. Did send the 3 villagers as his first card. EAGLEMUT, yep, he sent the same thing. But as we were saying, British got to get that second hunt in if he wants to hold off the pressure that will most likely come from the Iroquois player, given that fast age up. And it looks like, it looks like the British player did convert, or not convert, but did get this Nootka Clubman. We'll see. We got a little bit of an explorer fight. He's going to use his crack shot to take down this grizzly bear. Very nice job, but that is going to mean that he's not going to have that crack shot up for a while, and he's not going to be able to get some of these beefier treasures like the 95 wood down in the south of the map. But so both are going to escape with their Native American scouts intact. So let's see. Pezet has clicked up to the second age, and looks like he's using the fast age up. No, not the fast. That's EAGLEMUT. EAGLEMUT is using the fast stage up. Excuse me. Looking at the wrong player. But both are going to the second age. I really hope that Iroquois... And again, he's shooting away his hunt. Look at how far these ram have gotten. These bighorn sheep are away from that town center. And, yeah, he's really going to have to get map control, or those far out hunts are really going to hurt him. But the British player, gathering a lot of wood, has almost brought in this second hunt. Very nice job by him. And it looks like the Iroquois player is going to pick up the 95 wood. That is going to be a huge advantage for him. Going to be able to get that war hut down nice and early. Has not moved his travail yet. Let's see. Yeah. And the British player looks like he... Oh, look at this. Pezet putting up a bit of a wall here. Although I'm a little bit worried. That's a lot of wood to put up that much wall. And... you know, he's not really protecting a lot in here. He's protecting these couple of sheep, and this coin mine. But, I mean, these can all still be in range of the tomahawks or the hyena. whatever the Iroquois player decides to build. Unless he decides to put his outpost in there, then that might be good. But other than that, oh, and look at this, the war hut coming down very aggressively, right on the doorstep of the British player's base. He's got to keep bringing the second hunt in, or he's going to be in trouble when the Tomahawks, the Aena, and the Kanye all start to spill out of this war hut. And it looks like sending Town Destroyer. That's a very interesting card. It does make your war chief more destructive against buildings, which I think is a very situational card. But we'll see. We'll see if it comes into play. A barracks is coming down for the British player. Both are in the second age. And the tower, yes, like I predicted, coming inside of the wall. Again, the outpost is going to be protective, but it's not really protecting anything other than this coin mine. It's not protecting this hunt. Questionable tower placement, but not terrible. Especially if he pops some longbow in that outpost. They're going to be able to do some good DPS against these Tomahawks that have started to come into the base. 3 more Tomahawks coming out from the war hut. And it looks like Pezet did send 700 wood as his first card, deciding to try to go for an economic build and hold off this pressure. Is training some musketeers. Very interesting. Did have his villagers build up there for a little time. Has researched steel traps, so he is going to have that market advantage, while the Iroquois player does not have a market, is bringing in his second hunt, which is good. And the stable coming down, so the British player going with a pretty standard Brit play, deciding not to go double barracks. I think that's good, because I think he's done a good job suspecting the composition of the Iroquois player. Probably knows that the Aena are going to be shipped at some point, and I think it's good to have those Hussar there to be able to deal with that. So, pretty standard. EAGLEMUT is shipping 600 wood, maybe going to try to get down a market, or maybe even fund more military units with that. Sending 6 musketeers, so I think Pezet is pretty worried about this pressure. Building more muskets, which will deal with these Tomahawks that are in the north of the map at this point. They'll deal with them all right, but these 3 Aena, or these 5 Aena, are going to be a little bit of a problem. So has done. I just want to say how important herding is, and he has done such a good job of bringing in the second hunt. But I really think he needs to start bringing in this hunt as well, these elk, because I mean the British civilization in general, they just run out of food so quickly. But he does have a very impressive mass of muskets here, and let's see what EAGLEMUT has done in his base. Did get the 600 wood. Has not put up any buildings with it yet. Has made more Tomahawks. Oh, that's why. That's a little bit of a mistake there. Shipping the 600 wood to the forward war hut. Maybe you should have shipped that to his town center. But I think he knows that the British player isn't going to try to push in here. So I guess he's safe bringing that to his forward war hut. All right. Pezet is going to get his placer mines. So, doing a good job. The British player is doing what he needs to do. He's getting out a solid mass while also playing very economically. Does only have 70 population in manors, so not quite as many manors as a British player would like to have at 7 minutes. Is training some Hussar, trying to get that good unit composition. But there's a lot of Tomahawks here from the Iroquois player as well as the Aena. So it's going to be interesting. I definitely think that if the Iroquois player did try to push right now, did try to do some sort of timing, the British player would be able to hold it off fairly easily with this many muskets and plus these Hussar just tanking in the front lines. But yeah, I'm not sure what the Iroquois player is trying to do. The British player is shipping 600 wood. So the British player just continuing to play economically, and the Iroquois player hasn't really punished him for it quite yet. But we do have to remember that this war hut is keeping the British player contained to an extent, and while he has this elk herd and these rams in his base, you know, give 5-10 minutes, those rams are going to be depleted, and he's going to need to move down south here to this hunt and start moving out. And I think that's when the Iroquois player is going to have the advantage. But we will see. Wow. the Iroquois player deciding to send 5 villagers and buy stagecoach is getting the second TP line down. It'll be up to the British player. Ooh, nice raid down here with a couple of Hussar, but this Iroquois army is going to be able to deter that. Might lose a... Nope, he is going to get out with the Hussar, training more Hyena. So going to be able to deal well with those muskets, but more Hussar coming out. And yeah, the Iroquois player did decide to get the stagecoach upgrade, which if the British player sees that, perhaps with this manor, or these roaming Hussar, he might decide to build a couple of trading posts with his own, and basically neutralize that advantage for the Iroquois player and get some extra resources for himself. But still going with this musket Hussar composition. Does have a shipment. Let's see what he decides to send. The 700 gold. So it looks like the British player going to try to get up to the Fortress Age. Either that, or he might decide to put more of that into the Hussar musket unit production. But the Iroquois player is sending 600 gold, and he's stockpiling quite a bit of food. Got about 700 food right now, plus 500 coin. I think the Iroquois player might... Yeah, I think he's gearing for an age up. Yeah, he's gearing for an age up. He doesn't have... You know, he hasn't done a timing yet. It's 10 minutes into the game. And, yeah, I think he's just going to be satisfied with keeping the British player belled up in his base and getting up to the third age, which it'll be interesting to see if the British player decides to do that. The 700 coin did come in, but, I mean, he doesn't have near enough food to even consider aging quite yet. Is deciding to make a couple longbows and more Hussar. So I think he's gonna use the 700 coin to further his unit production rather than decide to age up, which will be interesting. Yeah, EAGLEMUT's got to be he's got to be aging. He's sitting at about 2,000 food, or he's sitting at about... Yep, he now has the resources to age. A little bit of a raid here, trying to get that war chief down. Those tomahawks, though, are going to deter those cavalry, and it's going to take a lot of damage there. I don't know if that was really worthwhile. I mean, yeah, he did some damage to the Iroquois war chief, but if EAGLEMUT's smart, he'll just keep him in the back and use him to keep those bonuses. A raid is coming down here, but yeah, not going to find much, especially with those Hussars on such low HP. And yeah, the British player, I'm a little worried. EAGLEMUT has clicked up to the third age, which will be good. But if the British player does decide to move and decide to expand and decide to grab for more resources, the Iroquois player does not have the mass to guard this war hut. And there's a lot of villagers here. I mean, he's got quite a few Hyena and not a lot of tomahawks, which with this many Hussar is going to be a problem. And another barracks coming down for the British player. So it definitely seems like he wants to keep this in the second age and push, making more Hussar, more muskets, shipping 5 vills. Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see what the British player decides to do. However, he's got a very small window here. He's got to push soon. EAGLEMUT is over halfway aged, and if he lets him age up, he's going to be in for a rough time, especially if EAGLEMUT gets those upgraded units right away and starts making some third age units and shipping some third age shipments. Does have 3 trading posts now with stagecoach, all on wood. Very nice economic boost for him. And the British player making more Hussar. But look at this. Look at this. This third hunt, as I said earlier, these elk have run out. These rams have basically depleted. I mean, there's a couple more elk in the front of his base, but they're all being eaten on right now. And pretty soon, this British player is going to have no choice but to move out. And making more muskets, making more Hussar. But I think he's going to miss his timing. Yep. I think... Okay, let's watch. Yep. I think as soon as he gets aged up, the British player, Pezet's just going to slam into that forward war. Yep. Here it is. The push is going to come. He sees that EAGLEMUT has gone to the third age, decides, oh crap, I need to push, maybe do some damage before he gets those upgrades. And what? What is... EAGLEMUT is shipping 11 halberdiers while also making forest prowlers, putting in his second war hut, but he's going to lose this first war hut. A lot of siege damage with the musketeers and the hussar. He doesn't have the army to defend this whatsoever. Nice raid coming down. These 3 hussar doing a nice job, and I think the British player is just going to keep pushing down here. He wants to confront this army. He wants to do some significant damage before these tomahawks and these Aena get upgrades. Pezet is shipping 600 coins, so I think he's going to try to follow his opponent right up to the 3rd age. Doesn't have a lot of food in his base, though, but here's the encounter, and yeah, there's not a lot of well, I mean, there's a few tomahawks, but not enough to protect from this many hussar and this many muskets. Has a lot of villagers on this coin mine. But here comes all the 11 halberds. They do come out of the TC. These are veteran halberdiers, and they're going to tear these hussar apart if they can catch up with them. And look at this. They've done a good job. They're even doing well against the muskets. And now bringing in his army here, making some elite forest prowlers. And we'll see if he holds this pressure, but these hussar are doing such a good job snaring and doing so much damage to the musketeers as well as the hussars. Able to push that back, and 5 cuirassiers coming as well. Wow, that was such a good... I don't know if that was skill or luck, but those halberdiers timed out and came just at the right time. And look at now, this British player, 14 vills here, just walking down this map. Has an outpost here, but if the Iroquois player decides to pressure that, we do it. The fight is continuing in the middle of the map. The halberdiers have been eliminated, and there's nothing really... There's not enough tomahawks here to protect the Aena and the forest prowlers. Still a significant mass of hussar, so maybe those halberdiers didn't do as much damage as I thought, but more tomahawks coming. They might be able to deter those hussar. Pezet starting to produce longbowmen and muskets while also getting up to the 3rd age, so really trying to get to a position where he can get to the same tech advantage as his opponent. Oh, and out come the cuirassiers, and those cuirassiers once again, this war hut, MVP, the halberdiers and now the cuirassiers have done a wonderful job in holding off. Did call his Minutemen to help in that push. That's interesting, but is going to send 8 forest prowlers. So really going to go with he's really going to try to mass these elite forest prowlers. But Pezet is going to be in the 3rd age soon, and he does have quite a few longbow. Some musk are left. His cav have really... Oh, look at this. A nice raid here down by the Iroquois player, and he's going to lose quite a few villagers, and this is what happens. This is just one of the big problems with playing British is they're so reliant on food that, you know, once you go through your 2nd and 3rd hunt in your base, you're very vulnerable to these raids, even if you do have these outposts down. But yeah, the 3rd age has come for the Brit player, and he has pushed this Iroquois army off of this position here, but did lose quite a few villagers in the process. You know, he does have 47 villagers. EAGLEMUT does only have 30, so you know there's quite a big villager advantage for the Brit player, but he does not have those upgrades yet. So the Iroquois player still does have the tech advantage. A corral coming down for EAGLEMUT. Going to start making some Kanye, I'm guessing, to ward off these hussar and maybe do some damage on these longbowmen. As he can see, there's a lot of longbowmen starting to be mixed up into this British player's army. Pezet is getting his upgrades, getting his veteran hussars and his veteran longbows. So going to be very good for those next fights. Shipping 2 falconets. We'll see what they can do. Yeah, I think it's all gonna depend on how well can the British player send these 2 falcons and deal with this massive army of infantry. Because if he can get a couple of volleys on these forest prowlers and these tomahawks, he can decimate this Iroquois army, especially with, you know, he's already built up his hussar mass once again. Does have quite a few longbow to deal with these forest prowlers. Yeah, I like the British player's position right now. The only thing that worries me is he's already starting to run out of this hunt as well. And then where is he going to go next? He has gone up here, but, I mean, look how far that is away from his army, from his base, from any protection. He does have an outpost here, but those can be sieged down rather quickly, and then all of your villagers are exposed. We do have to remember that even though the British player does have a villager advantage, the Iroquois player still has this 3 trading post economy with stagecoach, which is providing him with some very nice resources. And EAGLEMUT continuing to make Forest Prowlers, also mixing in some Kanye Horsemen. Very nice job by him. He's going to have a good composition, but we'll have to see if it's going to be enough. And he does find this forward position, and like I said, it's, you know, with these villagers this far out on the map, they're going to be very vulnerable. And look at how fast that outpost goes down. It's already, you know, half HP, and if that British army doesn't, the British army rushing to get there, but with the 2 Falcons, he's not as quick as he otherwise might be. There's hardly any anti-cav here, though. The veteran Hussar are going to jump on these elite Forest Prowlers, and they're going to do some significant damage. The Longbow's doing some good DPS in the back, and the Iroquois player, ooh, this isn't a great trade for him. I mean, he's dealing with Hussar reasonably well. He has taken out most of the Hussar mass, so I guess Forest Prowlers are better than I thought versus Hussar. But there are still a lot of Longbow here, and these 2 Falconets. What are these 2 Falconets doing? They have to get into the fight. They're wasting damage on that TP, and he is going to push the Iroquois player away. I would have really liked to see those 2 Falconets actually in the fight, but these Longbowmen doing some great damage. Oh, but the Kanye coming in, but there are enough muskets here. But they're going to catch the Falconets in the back. Ooh, yeah, and that's always the worry. I mean, 2 Falconets, it's a great shipment. But the problem with Falconets is that they're very cumbersome, you know, and, you know, once they're down, and if they're not in position, you know, they're basically slowing your army down and not giving you a lot in return. But 1 Falconet's still alive, and the British player has cleaned up this Iroquois army reasonably well. More elite Kanye Horsemen coming up from the middle of the map. There are a couple of more elite Forest Prowlers here, but both armies have lost a lot of units, and we're going to see. It's all going to come down to who can build up their army quicker. The British player did decide to get this trading post here, so is benefiting from that stagecoach upgrade. But these Kanye Horsemen facing up against these Dragoons, and these Dragoons, they're good against cavalry, but once the cavalry gets up and is starts to do that melee damage, not as good. He needs to take out this Falconet here. It's still at half health, and it's doing some damage to his elite Forest Prowlers in the back. More Dragoons coming. Not really what he needs right now. There's not a lot of Kanye on the map, mostly just Forest Prowlers. But is mixing in more Longbow with the 10 Longbow shipment. The British player looks like he's in a good position here. You know, he's held off this big push, but the Iroquois player did lose some villagers, but he is still at 48, while EAGLEMUT has caught up a little bit. He's at 36 now. Oh, I don't know why he built this plantation in his base. Huh, I don't know, maybe he built that with a travois, but interesting. Interesting to note the Iroquois player still hasn't put up his did he put up his market? I don't think he did. Yeah, still hasn't put down a market. Yep, there it is. Yep. So he probably has gotten some market upgrades. Shipping the 5 mantlets while also training more Prowlers and more Kanye Horsemen. I don't know. This is a close game. I think it's all going to come down to here's what I think is going to happen. Basically, I think the Iroquois player is going to try to keep containing the British player, and once the British player runs out of this hunt up here, I think he's going to be very, very unfortunate. That's going to put him in a dangerous position because, did put a town center down here in the south of the map, but it is getting sieged right now. Going to try to get those couple of villagers out, and once again, the British army kept a little bit slowed down by this Falconet, which is still at half health. A lot of Longbowmen, a lot of Dragoons. So this is really going to come down to can the Kanye get on the Longbows, and can the Dragoons get taken down by these Forest Prowlers. And the Minutemen are called. They are going to do some good damage here. In come the Mantlets. In come the Kanye. The Kanye are getting shot down by these Dragoons and these Longbowmen. But here come a couple more that were raiding these villagers. These Longbowmen. Oh boy, the Forest Prowlers are doing a decent job taking out those Dragoons. And there's still quite a few Kanye left here. This Falconet, very late to the party, is not going to be able to do a whole lot of damage before it gets taken down by those Kanyes. And yep, that one's down. Once again, the Dragoons have been caught in melee mode, but there are some more here. The Longbowmen mass has decreased significantly. More elite prowlers coming in and more Kanye. He's going to be able to sandwich the army, and the British player has to get out of here. He's going to lose his big longbow mass. And 9 tomahawks coming out as his next shipment. What is Pezet sending? Making more Hussar. But wow, what a swing. What a swing. He still has a bunch of forest prowlers here. Going to be able to mop up those dragoons. And the longbow mass that Pezet presented has just been decimated. Wow, a very nice job by EAGLEMUT. He reinforced that fight well, and he was able to bring these reinforcements from his war hut and his corral. And I think Pezet was not able to get that falcon in the fight soon enough to make a difference, and they were shot down so quickly by the Kanye horsemen. I don't really agree with him taking down this manor here. All that's going to do is just give the Brit player more villagers. But maybe he doesn't want the Brit to have vision down here. I don't know. This coin mine has run out. So yeah, this is exactly what I predicted about 15 minutes ago. The British player is so run out for resources. Ooh, he built a mill. Which I guess, what else do you do in that situation? But mills are just, you spend 400 wood for a slower gathering food source. And, the Iroquois player still on hunts, has not received any threat in his base since, the start of the game. There was a couple of Hussar raids, but they didn't really do a whole lot. Pezet is at 53 villagers. EAGLEMUT is now at 39. So the villager gap is still in favor of Pezet, but I don't know how he's going to deal with this army. I just don't think he has the food. I mean, he's at 100 food right now, and all he's got is dragoons and veteran Hussar, which are good units, but against this many forest prowlers with the tomahawks mixed in and all of these Kanye to sponge damage, I don't think it's going to be enough. But yeah, continuing to move up into the British player's base, did take out this town center and this outpost. So the British player cannot gather from the south of the map, trying to catch the British army out in the open. And the British player, unfortunately, just doesn't really have the composition at the moment to deal with this army. I mean, the Hussar can slam in here, but I don't know how much they're going to do. Some of these mantlets are still alive, which is very nice for the Iroquois player. And he's got so many vills, piled up back here, gathering on this mill. And he's got a bunch up north here, but there's no food left here. There's just this coin mine, which is sitting at, about 1,000 coin. And once that runs out, the fight is going to come here. Nice reinforcement batches from the Hussar, from the stable. I don't really agree with EAGLEMUT deciding to siege that town center. I would have rather seen him siege the stable or one of the barracks, make sure units are not going to come out of there and reinforce this fight. But there's still so many forest prowlers here and reinforcements coming up. The Kanye have been neutralized, but so have the dragoons. And wow, these elite forest prowlers, you think that the Hussar would do decently well against them when they're massed up this much, but the forest prowlers doing a lot of damage. And wow, that just shows the power of these units. And gonna clean up these Hussar, but he still needs to be careful because he's still sitting in front of a town center and a stable and 2 barracks, so he does not know what reinforcements could come out of there. But the British player, only sitting at about 150 food. And more Hussar are going to come out, but this time there are some tomahawks. And yeah, the British player, I don't know what he does from this point. I think the British player he's just starved out. He's on a mill. He has he's found a couple of elk back here, but I think it's too little, too late. I think he's run out of food. He's run out of coin mine, and I just don't think he has the economic potential to continue trading these huge armies. And the Iroquois player can just keep massing up, keep forming these armies, and I don't think the British player can. So yeah, this is building a 3rd outpost down here, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I honestly don't think it's going to be enough because more Kanye are being trained and more forest prowlers. Oh boy, this is scary for the British player. If the Iroquois player just decides to move up here and engage this army and siege down these outposts and get at these villagers, it's GG. The British player cannot lose that many villagers and come back. Couple of longbowmen out, but I mean, this many longbowmen. He has a lot of Kanye, still a lot of forest prowlers. They're not going to do significant damage. And these Hussar that are left, I mean, a couple are on half health. One's almost dead. Yeah, this is... And look at this. Kanye raiding in the north of the map. And I think the British player's done. I think Pezet has played... I think he's played a good game. I think it just came down to the fact that he wasn't able to push out in the Colonial Age and, you know, contest the middle of the map. Now that I do say that, though, more longbowmen are coming out. But at the same time, I mean, he's got so many idle villas sitting in his base. He's still on that mill, and he's got his villagers penned up in this outpost. And, yeah, the Iroquois player, this is exactly what the Iroquois player should be doing. He's going to make the British player face him, because if he attacks these outposts, there's so much economy in here that the British player has no choice but to fight this. But he still doesn't have the military, even though he has... Oh, and look at this. Look at all these tomahawks and more forest prowlers coming forward. And I think this will be the last fight. You know, if he can get some good damage with his longbowman, he might be... No. There's just not enough Hussar here to tank these Kanye. But, and look at these tomahawks coming in here from the bottom of the map. Yep, there's not enough. Yeah, I think he's gonna wipe up these longbowmen, and it's gonna be GG. The British player just has no food to gather from. His coin mines are depleted. Yep, and there it is. There it is. Good game. Good game. It was very exciting. It was, I mean, it was definitely back and forth. I think the best chance for the British player to win was that Colonial Age, when he had that big, massive Hussar and muskets, and he was able to siege down this war hut. Unfortunately, the 11 Halbs and the 5 Cuirassiers were able to push him off just long enough that, you know, Iroquois was able to get those Fortress Age units out. And, you know, by the end of it, the British player just didn't have enough food. And, you know, that's often the case with the British civilization. You know, he did take kind of a bad fight down here, protecting his town center. Lost one of the Falcons, lost his big longbow mass, lost his Hussar mass, and he kind of had to rebuild from scratch. And that was really taxing on his food economy, especially since it was already being weighed down by the fact that there was just no hunt left in his base. But EAGLEMUT, nice game. Pezet also played a really good game. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is the first in just a series of replays in where I cast some games that otherwise wouldn't have the chance to be casted. And, of course, you know, more content is good content. Hopefully. So, if you guys do have a recorded game that you'd like to send me, just send it to me on eso-community.net, and I will cast it, and we will get it up on the ESOC site as soon as possible. But thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you around.